This is your guy, Manny, and this is another episode of the Back Row Redskins Show. Got a special show for you guys today. We're going to dive into the comments that Asante Samuel made about Darrell Green, and we're also going to get into some fan reactions about the name change for the Redskins. So hope you guys really enjoy this episode. Asante Samuel took it to Twitter on the 4th of July. He was trying to make fireworks, but it was an epic fail because Redskins Twitter was after this guy, and they're still after him right now. So he said, with all due respect, can someone explain to me why Darrell Green is considered a great? ? He played 19 years and was mostly a nickelback. 54 INTs in 19 years. Talk to me? ? So first of all, Asante Samuel, he was a good player. I'm going to compare the stats in a minute, but first of all, Darrell Green was not a nickelback, okay? Darrell Green was a lockdown corner for so many years. And see, lockdown corners don't get targeted a lot. Lockdown corners don't really get a lot of interceptions. You know why? Because they command respect to where they lock down that the quarterbacks do not attack them as much, okay? Now, Asante Samuel had 2 great seasons where he had like over 8 or 9 interceptions each of those years. Great. He played 10 years. Darrell Green played 19 years. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to compare the stats so you guys can know who Asante is compared to who Darrell Green is. Like I said, Asante was good, but he wasn't like just so outstanding. Okay, now he played for 3 teams from 2003 to 2013. Played for 3 teams. Darrell Green played for 19 years for 1 team. Okay, now they don't make corners like they used to do, like they used to. They're about the same size in terms of weight and height. Now on the all-time interception list, you see guys like Champ Bailey, 52 interceptions. Okay. Yes, he didn't play as long as Darrell Green. Yes, he played on 2 teams, but that's a lockdown corner. Okay. Deion Sanders played quite a bit, 53 interceptions. Okay. So for you to say that Darrell Green only had 52 in 19 years and he's not so great, like, are you stupid? Who is this Asante Samuels guy? Great question that you asked me. So first of all, he played, like I said, from 2003 to 2013. Okay. From 2003 to 2007, he played for the New England Patriots. He won 2 Super Bowls with them. Okay. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. Okay. He was a first-team All-Pro. He was a second-team All-Pro in 2009. He was 2 times NFL interceptions co-leader. So he didn't lead the league in interceptions by himself. He had a guy that tied with him both years. Okay. He was first-team All-MAC. He was first-team All-Independent, whatever that means. It's probably like some college stats. Okay. Now I'm going to pull up Darrell Green's stats so you guys can see what Darrell Green's numbers look like. Now, Darrell Green, he's 60 years old right now, and I guarantee you he'll still dust Asante Samuel. Okay. Now, Darrell Green, he had 2 Super Bowls. He had 7 Pro Bowls, 4 first team. He was a Walter Payton Man of the Year. He was the 1990s All-Decade Team. He was on the 100th anniversary all-time team. Okay. He's a Washington Redskins Ring of Fame. He's one of the 70 greatest Redskins ever. Okay. He has the Brett Starr Award in 1997. Now, let's dissect these stats side by side. Okay. Like I said before, this dude Asante played for 3 teams. Darrell Green played for 1 team. Okay. Then if you were so good, how come you couldn't stick on 1 team? Okay, I understand you was drafted low by the Patriots. You blew up. Then you hit free agency and you went and got your money. I respect that. So you go to New England, you play X amount of seasons, you make some Pro Bowls on that team, and then you go to Atlanta, okay? Then you got cut. You got cut and you was replaced by a rookie. If you were so good, you telling me that you cannot outplay a rookie? Okay, let's get back to the stats. So 2 Super Bowls to 2 Super Bowls. Check. Darrell Green, 7 Pro Bowls. Asante, 4 Pro Bowls. Now, Asante was a Pro Bowl from 2007 to 2010. Congratulations on making 4 straight. Great accomplishment. Now, after Darrell Green's rookie season, he made the Pro Bowl in 84, 86, 87, 90, and 91. Okay, so if you say, let's look at a 10-year span, since Darrell Green came into the league at 83, that means 93 makes it 10 years, right? So in 10 years, that means that Darrell Green made it to the Pro Bowl 5 times. That's 1 more than Asante. But overall, he made it 7 times. Now, Asante made it to the All-Pro team 1 time, 1 measly old time. Okay, Darrell Green made the first team All-Pro 4 times. Okay, and that was between 1996 to 1991. So that means, again, in a 10-year span, he's made the first team All-Pro 4 times to your 1. So shut up there. Okay, then the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. That's awesome, Then this guy got his, co-interceptions leader, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Like I said, Asante had, great career. Darrell Green had a greater career. You cannot even compare the two, okay? They don't make players like they used to back in the day. This guy was able to play fairly healthy all through his career, except of 1 year when he was really hurt. But other than that, come on, man. Darrell Green is like that car, like a Toyota. He just keeps going and going and going and going. And then Asante is something that looks flashy, but then it dies. It can be like a Chevy Trailblazer or whatever. But, Darrell Green had longevity. Darrell Green is a player that you can compare to a guy like a Kobe Bryant or a Karl Malone or some of these great all-time NBA players that play forever. See, playing forever, that's even a whole nother ball game. For you to be able to last in the league 19 years is a testament to how hard you work, okay? Darrell Green was a guy that was a shutdown corner. Not only that, he was a guy that can return kicks. He was a guy that can chase down tackles, okay? So Darrell Green will leave his man when somebody else is getting burnt, and he will find that guy. Darrell Green was one of the fastest guys in the NFL for years. This dude had literally 2 careers. He had his first 10 years and then his last 9 years. If you go and look at his numbers, he had interceptions every single year, except of like maybe 2 years. And even at that, you look at the numbers when he made first team All-Pro. You look at the numbers when he made Pro Bowls, okay? Getting interceptions does not make you a great player, okay? Asante was a flash in the pan who had, really 4 really good seasons. That was really it. He had a 4 a season out of 10. So he had 4 really great seasons. And then he had maybe 2 decent seasons, and then everything else was trash. Darrell Green, you can't even really say that he had a trash season, okay? Even when this guy was getting older, when Champ Bailey came in, Champ Bailey learned so much from Darrell Green, okay? Darrell Green was out there competing with these youngins, and he played into the 2000s, okay? This dude almost played, he played in the 80s, he played in the 90s, and he played a little bit in the 2000s. And he was competitive in all 3 decades. Asante, you only played in the 2000s, and it was barely. Okay? So don't compare yourself to a legendary great. Then you want to talk about tackles? You had 434 tackles in your entire career. Okay, Darrell Green had 1,100 plus tackles. If you cut what he's done in half, he'll still have more tackles than you. Okay, you had 6 defensive touchdowns. Darrell Green had 6 defensive touchdowns as a lockdown corner. So don't even compare yourself with this guy. I looked at the postseason numbers. You had like 7 interceptions in the postseason. That's amazing in a 10-year career. Darrell Green had 6. So where is the beef? Like, why are you so angry? You know, it's so funny how these young bucks come into the league and then they try to disrespect the ones that have come before them. Darrell Green is literally one of the best corners to ever play the game. He's probably a top 3, maybe top 5 corner to ever play the game of all time. So Asante, you tried it, but you didn't get it right. Darrell Green is running circles around you, literally running circles around you. Your accolades do not compare to what he has. Not only that, you played with New England. New England created you. You was a product of the system. Darrell Green played with so many different teams, so many different coaches. You cannot compare the two. Like I said, longevity and productivity beats a flash in the pan any day of the week. So, guys, those of you guys who heard my last episode, you guys know where I stand with the name change. I understand why the name has to change, but I'm all for keeping the name. There's nothing more powerful to me than that Redskins name, along with the burgundy and gold. I live in Nashville now, so when I lived in DC and Maryland, I took the games for granted, and was a fan since '99. So for me, 21 years of my fandom, there hasn't been a lot of success for the team, but I've been loyal to this team. I just love the colors. I love the name, and they just go together for me. And if they do change the name, which most likely is going to happen, when they do change the name, I just pray that we keep our colors, burgundy and gold. Dan Snyder has said that he wants to honor the Native Americans, and that, the name might have something to do with Native Americans. You've seen names out there like Red Tails, and you've seen names like Red Spears, Red Wolf, Hogs. People want to keep the R so they can have the HTTR still. It'll be cool to have that. At least let's have something that just brings us back, that ties it all together for us who want to keep the name. It would just suck to just, have everything just change. And I do believe that the team is rushing this thing right now. Why not just rock with a generic name or even a generic logo, and then next year bring out something? Why not use the Redskins jerseys that we have now and just strip the Redskins name off the jersey? Just keep a generic burgundy and gold that looks just like the jerseys that we have now, and really come up with a name or a logo moving forward than trying to rush. And but the good thing is, if they do take care of this name issue ASAP, then what that's going to do for the team is, it would eliminate our players being asked questions about the name in every single interview, after every single practice, after every single game. So the sooner the better. But man, there is nothing like this Redskins name. There's nothing like singing a song after a touchdown. There's nothing like the colors. It just all ties together, especially for me. So I had some fans who recorded their reaction to the name change. There's all kinds of fan reactions. Some want to keep the name, some don't want to keep the name, but I respect it all. It's all love. I respect people who have their own opinions and who have their own thoughts. So we're going to dive into these fan reactions. Hope you guys enjoy, and I appreciate everybody who was able to make this possible. The ones that couldn't make it possible, it is okay. It is still love. I still appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoy.
The main reason I'm against the name change is because, like many, I've rooted for the team for so long, but I've never seen them go to a Super Bowl. I'd like to see them win a Super Bowl under the Washington Redskins name. Furthermore, this seems like a major distraction and should be the least of their worries. I hope this situation goes away and we can focus on winning.
Hey, Redskins fans, this is Deshaun Lawson. I'm a diehard Skins fan. I'm only 30 years old, so my take on the name change might be a little bit different from yours. I think the Redskins should change their name. The word Redskin is a racial slur. The word is offensive to some. So I think the Redskins should change their name. I'll always be a fan of the team regardless of their name. Greats like Darrell Green, Sean Taylor, Clinton Portis, London Fletcher will always hold a special place in my heart. HTTR.
Hey, this is Adam Maneva from the Burgundy and Gold Report. Yeah, so, as far as the name change goes with the Washington Redskins, it's just a situation that's come to a head. It's been going around through the media through decades. Started with, the Oneida tribe representatives, casino owner Roy Halbritter, and now it's just got to a point where now there's some serious money behind the whole thing. And I think that Snyder right now, it's obviously, we're getting little bits and pieces, but it's not a Redskins fan. It's definitely something not easy to accept. But I think we have to understand that there's change, and I filled out petitions, and I do agree with those. We need to keep voicing our opinions, but at the same time, we also need to understand when it's about money and sponsors. Everything is out the window. So we'll see what happens with the name change. HTTR.
This is Will right here, and I just wanted to address the name of the team. It's very unfortunate that the team has to change their name, but I kind of understand with the climate going on that Dan Snyder has to be, in some ways, kind of forced to do so. But I do feel like the team will be able to adapt to change, especially since we're entering a new era, pun intended, under Ron Rivera, of trying to build a great program here to possibly win the championship.
When it comes to the name change of the Washington Redskins, I honestly feel that, we need to not necessarily focus on changing the name and maybe focus a little bit more on the problems that the native communities, face, way more significant than changing the name, you know, such as the unemployment, um, violence against women and children, the education, the poor quality housing, and the inadequate health care. I feel like those are bigger issues that need to be brought, you know, uh, you know, more focus to. I know Dan Snyder has donated over $5 million to 20 plus tribes. You know, I feel like that's more important. When it comes to the Redskins name change, I'm not happy about it. My father was a diehard Washington Redskins fan, and I lost him back in '98. Um, but the one thing that kind of filled that void was the love that I now have for the Washington Redskins because of my father. So, I never really got a chance to go to the games with my dad. Watched many of them on TV, but I never actually got to go there. So, when I started going to the games when I was 21 years old, for the last 19 years, I've felt close with my father when I've gone to the games or other Redskin events. So the name change is honestly feels like
So I'll
losing my
admit,
father again.
I grew up a Washington Redskins fan, and this whole name issue is definitely something difficult to grapple with. I have Redskins merchandise all over my house. I begged my parents to buy Redskins merchandise on Christmas, on my birthday. I've been watching Redskins games my entire life. Never missed one of them, even with all the losses that we've accumulated over the years. And it's also really difficult just because my parents, when they immigrated to this country in the late 80s and early 90s, they saw the Washington Redskins having success, and they saw the Washington Redskins really being the talk of the town. And they sort of, tie themselves to the team, and by association the name, and pretty much led that fandom to me. And at the same time, even with the small minority of Native Americans feeling offended by the name now, I think in 2020, in this period of social change, it might just ultimately be time to change the name.
So, name is Namdi Nwozo. I am not against the name change of the Washington Redskins. I can understand how the American Indians, how they feel offended due to the name Redskins in it. And I kind of, when I think about that, it kind of makes me wonder how other um, races would feel. It's say, for instance, they're called, their team is called Washington brown skins or Washington black skins or Washington white skins or tan skins or something like that. So I completely understand why they're offended, um, why they deem it sort of like sort of racist. And I'm not totally against the name change. I'm actually for it. So that's all I have.
What's up, Manny? As far as the name change goes, I don't think it should be changed. I see it as a term of honor and pride for Native Americans. I mean, over 49 high schools have the name Redskins, most of them on reservations. But if the name is to change, I see a lot of fans saying they're done. That I don't understand. I don't see how you can be done with the history, the rich traditional history that the organization has. I know Snyder is a very poor owner, but maybe things are turning around. We have Rivera. Everything's looking up for us. Haskins looks amazing in the offseason. Um, but I, for one, will never leave the team. I will always be a Redskin, true to my heart. And whoever the name changes goes to, Warriors, Red Tails, Red Wolves, Red Hogs.
What an amazing group of fans to voice their opinions and their thoughts on the name change. Each and every one of these fans' thoughts were very powerful, regardless of their stance. It's just powerful just to see fans voice their opinions. These are passionate fans of the Redskins. We've seen all ages. We've seen all races. I know these guys personally, and some I know better than others. And these are just great people. I'm just glad that we were able to come together and just kind of voice our opinions. This is so powerful. So I've also seen that the three minorities that own 40% of the Redskins team, they are now trying to sell the team. And JP Finley made a very good point. He said, with the name change, that means a new stadium, and that means a couple of other different things. Why do you want to sell now? At least see what the team can do. Then maybe you sell later, but even then you don't sell because they're going to trend up. So for whatever the reason is, the minorities want to sell their portion of the team. I've seen different people on Twitter talking about they're interested in buying. I've seen Pierre Garçon saying that he's interested in buying, but I don't know if he has that kind of buying power. But like I said earlier, I'm all for keeping the name. I understand why the name has to change. But most importantly for me, I'm all about my colors. Do not mess with my colors, please. Regardless of what the name is, I still think that the team should keep that R logo, rock with that, get like some kind of generic name, like I said earlier, rock it out, let this season play out, and then, then change the name. Don't be in a rush and pick something, because whatever decision that the Redskins make now is going to be forever, at least for a very long time before they even think of changing the name again. So it can't be something that is done in a rush. My whole thing is take your time, make the right decision, get it done, figure out what you're doing with merchandise and things of that nature. So it's always going to be the Redskins for me. I'm always going to support the new name, regardless of what it is. And I just hope that it's something that we all are going to love. Man, I'm going to miss the name. Please don't mess with my colors. I say that one more time. Also, in other news, Brandon Scherff has not yet negotiated a deal. And now it's looking like he's not going to be able to negotiate a deal before the deadline in July. So, that means next year we're going to have to try to sign Brandon Scherff. Now, if he plays well, he's going to get paid. If he does not play well, then what do? Do you trade him? Do you re-sign him anyways, regardless of how he plays? But either way, Brandon Scherff is a top 5 guard in the NFL. My stance is re-sign him. We need him, okay? Especially in this stage of Dwayne Haskins' career. He needs as much protection as possible. If Dwayne Haskins is the future, you got to protect him. Okay? Now, I know we got guys like Wes Martin, and you can even move Sadiq Charles to the inside if we were to draft a tackle next year. So, a lot of question marks in that offensive line. Got to keep Dwayne Haskins healthy. And I'm excited about where the team is going. I do believe that with Ron Rivera at the helm, we have a chance to win the Super Bowl between now and the next 5 years. So anytime between this 5-year plan for Ron Rivera, I do believe that we will win the Super Bowl. That's just, as crazy as that might sound to some fans, that's just how I feel. I feel like we're trending up. We have been building through the draft, okay? I know we have not seen wins yet, but the wins are going to start to come, okay? Ron Rivera is going to have a 5-year plan to rebuild this team. Whether we win in year 1, which I don't think is going to happen, but year 2, 3, 4, 5, those are the years that I think we start competing. After next year, when we sign a couple of free agents, after we bring in our own kinds of guys, after we draft another group of guys under Rivera, I need to start seeing production. Okay, year 1 is kind of like, he's fixing all this mess. We don't have a tight end. We don't have a lot of different things. He's trying to add players. He's trying to build his team. So I cut him some slack. But at the same time, I need to start to see some kind of production, some kind of direction in the right way. Like, everything is looking good. Defense is looking good. Offense is getting there. We still have some question marks at receiver. We still have question marks at tight end, offensive line. But overall, I like the direction that the team is headed. And it would have been lovely to win a Super Bowl under the Redskins name, but now it seems like that's not going to happen. But when we do win, I'm going to say congratulations, Redskins fans. We deserve this. We've been at this for years, especially from the middle 90s until now. It hasn't been a lot of anything happening for us. Franchise is in a good place. Once we figure out this name thing, we'll see where we go as a franchise. It's a wrap for this episode. Great episode. Thank you for everybody who was involved. Thank you guys for continuing to support this podcast. We had a lot of listens the last episode. Please share this podcast with one or more. I'm going to post this thing out tomorrow morning on Twitter. Just share this as many times as possible. This is a very, very powerful episode to where the fans' voices was heard. So appreciate you guys. Follow me on Twitter at Back Row Redskins. And